And now, after years of planning, sweating, and going broke, here is the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
I'll alert the media.
Why they would give this man a podcast is anyone's guess.
Then there is what could only be a bizarre coincidence or something else.
Welcome to the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Country music and fine moonshine. Finally, a podcast that lets it all hang out.
Let's level with America.
Got your boots? Ready for some whiskey?
These boots are made for walking.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
And now, the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Hey everyone, Jim here, Boots and Whiskey Podcast. Welcome to another episode of our show. It is Tuesday. We have the wonderful Timmy McKeever. I'm probably fucking that up, but Timmy is here. We talked to Timmy a while ago. He's an up-and-comer. He's got some great tunes out there. So go check his stuff out wherever you get your music. There comes times, right, when you know a kid's got it, and I think he does. I think he's on the right path. He's got, a great backing behind him. He's got a great team, great support, and great tunes. So that's the most important thing. I don't got much to say today. We went to back-to-back nights of Kip Moore over the weekend. May or may not have cost me a job, but whatever. Worth it because Kip is the best. So we'll talk about that on the flip side here. Just, there's things in this episode that are very fascinating. When you have a kid this young who already has so much talent and not a lot of experience, you see things through a whole different lens, right? So sit back, relax, enjoy the episode. If you're watching it on YouTube, thank you. If you're just listening in your car, thank you as well. If it's your first time here, check us out on all of our socials, Boots and Whiskey Podcast. The website is bootsandwhiskyentertainment.com. A big thank you to all of our friends, Off the Rails, the DCU Center, 10th Mountain Whiskey, LH Coffee, who else? God, the list goes on and on. Bar Book, a lot of friends. Thank you so much for all your support. We also got word yesterday that we are part of the 2025 class of the ACMs, the Academy of Country Music. So thank you for that to the ACMs for having us be a part of, such a great organization. So thank you all for the support. Christmas is next week. We are going to drop an episode on Christmas Eve. We're also going to drop an episode on New Year's Eve. And then season 14 will start January 7th. And season 14 is going to kick off with the incredible Jesse Keith Whitley. I have no problem telling you that because it's, it's something to look forward to. Next week and the week after, we have 2 incredible episodes to send out. We got a bunch of stuff we're recording this week, next week, week after. So stay tuned, guys. 2025 is almost here. We're also going to start releasing our top, men, women, bands, albums of 24, looking into 25. So thanks for this so far. We'll do all that bullshit in 2 weeks when it's the first of the year and all the thank yous and all that. But anyway, sit back, relax. Timmy, thank you for being here, and we'll catch you on the other side of the episode, guys. Enjoy. Here,
Okay.
we're the kind of show where I'm going to ask you questions that you probably don't even want to answer. So,
All right. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, man. So we don't prep anything in advance.
Uh-huh.
So this is pretty much your show, right? I wanna hear your story. So I'm gonna kind of kick it over to you, and then once you say something interesting, I'll jump in and make you dig deep into it.
Sounds good. So you want me to just hear my life story?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you don't have
All
to
right.
be cliche about it, and all
Mhm.
that shit. But you know,
Yeah,
just enjoy yourself.
sounds good. All right. Well, let's see. So I started playing music when I was 9 years old. Uh, Basically, the reason I got into music was my third grade teacher used to play get like worship songs for us on the guitar after class, and so that was kind of just a daily thing we did. And then one day I was interested in it, and we had like a $90 Costco guitar sitting around at our house. So I kind of just went home, started watching some YouTube videos around, like just messing around with it, right? And
Yeah.
I kind of just started falling in love with it. And at first, my parents were like thought it was just going to be like a 1 week thing, and then I'd be done with it, right? It was just like a childhood obsession for a week, but then I stuck with it, and after a few months, they put me in lessons, and I started learning that way. And what was crazy is basically from the time I started learning how to play guitar, I started learning how to write music at the same time.
Oh
And
wow.
after, like a week after I learned how to play guitar, I was like performing, which is
Holy
crazy. At
shit.
first, yeah, like it was like a week later, I my teacher just told me to come in, and she's like, yeah, just like there was like 60 kids in our class, and she was like, yeah, just come in, like play the song you learned, because I've learned like Smoke on the Water, right? Like
Yeah,
everyone's first
I
song
think
on
that's what.
guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then so I went in and I performed that, and it was like 20 seconds of just me playing that riff, and then like I was like, oh shit, this is kind of cool, right? Because like I got all the attention from the girls and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so I stuck with it. I started performing in church a little bit, and then I did like the talent show, and then I started playing like for weddings and basically anywhere I could. And then after I was meeting with my guitar teacher, and he was like, all right, this kid's got something. He was in a country band, and he invited me to come out and do a set break for them. And it was at like this local bar a few minutes away from my house. And I got up there, played 5 songs. The guitar was bigger than I was at this point, so everyone was probably like, "What the hell is this kid doing up on stage?" Right? And I was just awful. Like I look back at videos from that time, and I was like, "Bro, who let me get up there?" But yeah, I mean, I stuck with it. I started just doing more and more shows to the point where I was doing probably like 2 to 3 shows every weekend growing up. Um, and then yeah, so I kind of just stuck with that and started getting bigger and bigger stuff. I think at age like 13 or something, I played my first festival, and I was I think third act in the lineup, and like the headliner was like Chris Jansen and like Cody Johnson and like
Holy
Adam
shit.
Doliak and guys like that. So I ended up being on like TV. So that was kind of the first point in my career. Where I was like, oh, this is like it's kind of going somewhere, right? So I
Holy shit.
got me amped up, and so then I just kept doing that. And pretty soon I had like a couple labels from Nashville started reaching out. And that's around the time I started coming out to Nashville, and taking meetings and stuff like that. And I just fell in love with this city. And it took me, now it's I think 5 years later from that point, and I'm living here full time, which is badass. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was for the past couple of years I've just been coming out to the city, um, a lot, and just taking meetings, riding with people. I'm still continuing to play shows and record music. I put out about 14 songs now. It's gonna be 15 tomorrow. I think I'm putting on an acoustic track, so I'm excited for that. Um, and yeah, man, I'm just living,
So,
doing the best
I
I
mean,
can.
I gotta say, right? I've been doing this show
Mhm.
for 3 years, right? And like,
Mhm.
I kind of hear about everybody,
Yeah,
right? But when you were brought to me, I had no idea who the fuck you even were.
yeah.
And then like I looked at your social media and all your presence, I was like, holy shit! Like, how like so what? How does that happen for you? Like, how do you? Because and then like I'm not gonna lie to you, like not knowing who you were, and that I just
Yeah.
looked at your numbers and I was like, yeah, fucking bring them on,
Yes,
and
sir.
then listened to the music and I was like, shit, this kid's actually got something.
Yeah, I
Because it's
appreciate that,
like
bro.
and I don't I mean that with sincerity,
Yeah.
because not everybody that has numbers also has like a talent that you actually like. Oh, this is actually a pretty good song, you know?
Well, yeah, that's the thing about today's market is I feel like a lot of the times, like a lot of good musicians get drowned out, especially on social media. Because I mean, anybody with a phone nowadays can post a video
Right,
on TikTok and go viral tomorrow, right? But
right.
um, and it's that's why I say like social media is a blessing, but it's also a big curse
Oh, it's a
because
huge curse.
for that reason, and
Yeah.
like the tolls on your mental health, and
So,
that's a whole different conversation. Of
for
course,
being 12
but
years old, you know exactly what's going on, Tim.
yeah, I was, and the fact that I was thrown into it at like such a young age was good because now I'm like I know how to like do social media and be like semi decent at it. Like I feel like I
Right.
actually have a reign on it, but like it took me so long. Like up until like a year ago, I the videos I was making were just terrible. Like it was like I'm just now getting the hang of it. Because I was putting out music and I was posting about it on social media and stuff, but like I said, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I also was kind of like focused on other stuff. I've been in sports since I was little. I played ice hockey for about 3 years, or sorry, no, I played ice hockey for 4, and then I played roller hockey for like 2 years. But I got like 3 concussions, and I couldn't play sports at all for a while. So that's when I kind of started getting into music pretty heavily, and then
Yeah.
I ended up picking up volleyball a few years later. And I got pretty good at that, and I ended up winning a national championship, um, which was cool. And then like the next day after I did that, I ended up quitting that, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna do music from now on. Just
Nice.
decided to go out with a bang, But
Yeah. That's right. If you're gonna go out on top.
exactly. That was my thinking. My team was
Right.
pretty pissed off about that, but
Oh,
I
fuck 'em.
think it was definitely best. What was best for my career.
That's
So
right. That's right. Now, Timmy, how old are you now?
I'm I turned 18 in a month.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's so funny when I go into writers' rooms and they're like, I'll be talking to them and we'll just be shooting the shit and they'll ask me like 10 minutes and they're like, wait, so how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 17, and they're
Oh,
just like, what the
God.
fuck are you doing?
I think
What
you
the
need to
fuck are you
stop
doing
saying that.
on music, bro?
Because, like, the
Yeah.
realization just hit me that I'm old enough to be your dad. Like, legit old enough to be your dad. And that fucks me up more than you know.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's definitely it's funny when I tell people that and they're because especially since I sing songs about like whiskey and shit and
Right. Well,
like
like, it's funny. I was listening to you a little earlier, and um, the person I was with was like, "Has this kid even hit puberty yet?"
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, this song's great."
It's so funny. Like when I started posting my song Bulletproof, which is now like my best performing song so far, when it started catching some traction, people started commenting. They're like, this kid looks 12. Like, how is he singing about like whiskey and shit? And then at first I was like, fuck, like, what do I do, right? But then I started like doing response videos, and I would like just reply to the comment with like a straight face, and then just transition into like the song. And
That's
that's that
awesome.
that's when it actually started picking up traction because people are like, all right, this guy's like actually has a sense of humor. He's not just trying to
Right. Right. So
some
how do you?
young guy bullshit, but.
But seriously, like, how do you get a song like that at your age, right? Singing about these things where, like, and please do not take this the wrong way, but like,
No, yeah,
you're 17, you still barely know your ass from your elbow,
yeah,
right? Like, how are you able? Like, do you even know what you're singing about? And I don't mean
yeah.
that in any disrespect, right? But like,
No, yeah, 100%. I'd like to say I'm pretty experienced for my age. People say I'm an old soul, uh, and like I said, I've been writing music since I was 9. So 9 years I've been doing this shit. So I'm I yeah I know what I'm talking about.
I like it.
I'm not gonna get too far into it, but
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm sure mom
no,
and
it
dad
was.
don't want to hear about it either.
Oh, well, that's what's funny is people started commenting. They're like, where's this kid's parents? Like all this shit, like these Karens on TikTok and stuff. And then that's when, so I posted a photo thing on TikTok, and it was like, it was like responding to a comment that was like that. And then the next slide was like me and my dad, and I was like me and pops over here chilling to the song, and like it was funny. So my parents like, yeah, they're in full support of anything I do, and they give me creative freedom,
That's awesome.
which is nice. But yeah, oh, what was I gonna say? Um, I lost my train of thought. But yeah,
Sorry. That's
they're
the
all
best part of
all
the
good.
show.
Yeah,
Now, do you have siblings?
I do. I have two older sisters. So one's, let's see, a sophomore at the University of Utah. I'm actually going out to visit her, I think, next weekend. So that'll be a blast. I'm going out for a football game, and then I have one sister who's lives in Austin, and she's like married now, and she just actually just had a baby. So I'm an uncle, which is badass.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That
Yeah,
all
dude.
sounds terrible.
Yeah, babies like scare the hell out of me. Like
They should.
I like I've never seen like that newborn of a baby. Like I was there like the
Oh,
first
yeah.
day she
Yeah,
came out, and it was like this scary shit because they're like, you want to hold her? I was like, fuck
like,
no, I don't
no.
want to hold her.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
I don't want to
I have
hold
three
Princess lives in
boys.
my hands.
I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's scary, man.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
hell no.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's the
she's
like, keep that thought.
uh-huh.
Just
Yeah,
keep that thought.
yeah. I'm gonna hold on to that as long as I can. That
Yep.
mentality.
Yep. Babies and heavy relationships are the two things at your age and for your success. Stay the fuck away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I've been single for about 8 months, so I'm living my best life
That's
doing the
and
single shit, and
you're
it's
doing it in the best city you could possibly think of.
yeah, exactly. So it's been fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Damn. So, you're so back to the whole. You said you were on TV. What do you mean by that? What does that look like?
yeah. So the first time I was on TV was when I did that festival,
Yeah.
and that was cool because basically they did a news promo.
Okay.
And so like a whole news crew came out and like filmed me like my set. They had me play my set beforehand, and just like took some video. And so they posted that on the news. So that was cool because my friends were like watching the news and they were like, "What the fuck? Like, why is Timmy on the news right now?"
Right.
But and then so the next time I was on TV, I actually auditioned for American Idol like 2 years ago. I had some producers reach out to me and they were just like, they put me through the whole circuit, and then I ended up getting in front of the judges. Um, and ultimately I got cut when I got in front of the judges. I got a yes from Luke Bryan though, which was
Right.
pretty cool. And he
Right.
had some nice things to
Because if
say.
anybody knows anything about country music, it's Luke
Yeah,
Bryan.
yeah. So that was nice. He was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna see you on the big stage someday, and like that was encouraging. But like, dude, Katy Perry was such a bitch to me. Like when
I
like
might use that. I might use that to promo the show.
I I don't like to throw shade on people,
No, it's
but
not,
she was like anyone
bro.
who
It's gonna
walked into
help
the
my
audition
numbers. I
room.
don't give a shit. You say whatever you
Yeah,
want.
like when I walked into the audition room, she literally just immediately rolled her eyes at me, and I was like, bro, this is not gonna go well. Like before, I didn't even open my mouth yet, and she was already like pissed off at me for some reason.
Oh,
And
it's because she's Katy Perry.
yeah, and but yeah, I guess she just like wasn't having it that day because everyone who walked into that audition room was like, yeah, she was not nice to me. But yeah, Lionel Richie was really nice. It's crazy how tall those guys are. Like they just look like crazy. Like I walked by them in the hallway before my audition, and they're both like 6'6" or whatever, and like yeah,
Jesus,
it's crazy. But yeah, it was a crazy experience because they try to tell you it's all filmed in one day.
it's not.
It's like I was there for 4 days. and
Right.
they want to make it seem like it's one day on TV, so they make you wear the same clothes, and, like, do your hair the exact same, and like,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah, it was
it's
a lot,
funny.
but
We've had a lot of like Idol and The Voice alums and all that on
mhm,
this show, and they say the same thing. Like,
yeah,
and it's like it's such a you know, all the power to the guys and girls that go on those shows, right? Because like
mhm.
it takes a lot, But at
It's
the end of the day, it's a fucking
yeah.
reality TV show,
That's what people don't understand. It's like it's all staged, and
right?
like
100.
it's
percent
I could tell multiple stories from just the time, like the 4 days that I was there, about like crazy shit that happened, and I'm
Oh,
just
I'm
like,
sure.
dude, how do people believe this?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
real,
Well,
but it can also be like a great tool for up and coming musicians to like get some like traction and get their name out there. And
yeah,
that's honestly, like, if I would give any advice to a musician that's like maybe been like contacted by the shows, like, I would just say just use it to your advantage, but you also like get as far as you can without winning, Like,
yeah,
you want to make it to like the top 5, and then drop out, or
right. Well, like that's
like
the
get
thing,
kicked
right?
off
And
the
like
show.
I even heard stories like, I mean, every now and again you get a winner or whatever that
Hmm.
blows up, right? Like you look
Yeah.
at Carrie Underwood, right?
Uh-huh.
Like but like you think about it, and like she's the only winner of any of these shows that it's like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
and Kelly Clarkson, right?
Yeah.
But Kelly was the first, so
Yeah.
um,
It's
but like we were talking to somebody, um, and they were telling us like they were like, listen, like I was doing really well, but I didn't want to be there anymore, so I told them, get me the fuck out of here, more or less.
yeah. Yeah.
And they did. They wrote him right out.
Yeah, and there's a couple people who have done that. Like, I know Benson Boone did that, and
Yep.
he and that was actually really good for him, and he did it in a smart way, because he had a great first audition, and like he got so much publicity from that, and like from his other auditions and stuff. But then when he made it far enough to where he had like all his traction, he's like, screw this, I don't want to be labeled as the American Idol act, which is really smart on
Yeah.
his half, and I know a lot of people have done that as well, which is not what the show wants, but I mean, it's
No, of
probably
course
the
not.
best route for a musician.
It really is. It
Yeah,
like you said, it's happened so many times.
yeah,
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not, but like I'm kind of surprised with some of the shit that has been talked about these shows on this show itself. I'm
uh,
surprised fucking Idol and The Voice haven't been like, you gotta stop it,
yeah,
because like we go hard.
mm, yeah, and yeah, like no shade to, like, again, I don't really like throwing shade, but that's just one thing I will say is it's definitely all staged, and it's
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
100%. So now, was that what kind of helped you? Brought you to like the next level of all this?
I wouldn't say so. I started getting traction on Instagram, which is when I really started taking off. I started getting traction on Instagram, I would say, like, beginning of this year.
Okay.
Um, and I think it was March, I had my first like viral post, and it wasn't even my music. It was just me. It was like a video of me playing volleyball, and it's basically, so like, in our warm-ups, the the other team we were playing, we were at like their gym, so they were on aux, and they started playing my song, and basically, they thought they were so funny, right? And then my dad got a video of it, and I ended up like posting it. And I was like, they tried to troll me or something like that, and then I posted the score like after the game because we won, and then it went viral, and it did like 1 million views or something like that.
That's
But
awesome.
that's when I first started getting like a bunch of followers, and then now I think I hit 10K like back in, I want to say, April or something like that, and now I'm up to 40K, which is, so it's crazy to see my growth. Like, my goal was to hit 10K by December. Like, last December, when I was thinking about like my goals for the next year. I was like, yeah, man, I want to like beat a 10K by the next year, and I'm greatly past that. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy and grateful to all the people who have found me, and TikTok is finally starting to take off. I was having a rough time on TikTok for a while there because I just could not figure out the
I was going to
platform.
ask you how TikTok has been faring.
It's for a while there, it was like rough. Like I was posting videos every day and I was only getting like 300 views and I was just
Yeah.
like in such a slump. I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing wrong because I feel like I'm making like good content, right? But it's just not going anywhere. And then I had a couple posts that like just started doing well. I guess that's how it always goes. But like that song Bulletproof just people really seem to like, and so
Yeah.
that just kind of started taking off, and now my numbers are way up, so can't complain about that.
Dude, Bulletproof is great. And then there's another one I was listening to. Um, shit. Maybe What I'm Missing?
Oh yeah, that one.
That's a great tune too.
Thank you. Yeah, that one about I wrote it about leaving my hometown actually to move to Nashville because I moved to Nashville June of this year, so I'm fairly new. And yeah, it was kind of just like a personal song. I didn't really like I hoped it would do well, but it was kind of more just for me, because just to
Yeah.
get share my feelings. But it was funny because I wrote it before I left because I was so nervous to get out here because I was leaving like my family and friends and everything
Right.
I ever knew, right? But then when I finally got out here, I knew I made the right decision because I like my career just started going way up and I started meeting friends and other people in the industry and it was just really good for me and for my mental health to
Yeah.
be in a place that's
Now,
good for me.
did your parents follow you out there, or are they still in California?
They did follow me out here.
Oh, nice.
They were planning on moving to Tennessee anyways after I graduated, like before I was even thinking about moving out here. So I mean, it just worked out great,
Right.
you know.
Well, nobody wants to be in California now anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. It's the mass exodus
yeah,
leaving California.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want to stay there either. Um, so what kind of who are you making contacts with and doing the thing with, and is there anything that's on the horizon that you're looking at that's like, oh shit, this is gonna just bring it to the next level.
Yeah. So when I moved here, I'd signed a recording deal with Drop Time Music,
Yeah,
um, back in January. So I had working with a label and stuff. And then when I moved out here, I ended up signing with Joe over at Arcade. And then like a few weeks later, I ended up signing with WME. So it was all kind of moving really fast. Um, and so I've never like before this fall, I'd never like done real shows like opening for like big acts and stuff like that. So I had my first one of those a few weeks back. I was opening for Elite Greenwood in Georgia. And then I just had a show in Texas opening for my buddy Clayton Mullen. And tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday, I'm actually opening for Dylan Scott out in Ohio. So
nice.
I'm getting some bigger shows. And then I just announced I'm doing 3 dates with Creed Fisher in Texas. So that'll be badass. And then
Dude, Creed is the fucking man.
yeah, that's what I've heard. I'm excited. I've never met him before, but I've heard
Ah,
I've heard just great things, especially in Texas. Like I was talking, I played the place in Texas, um, that it ended up being like one of the stops on Creed's route that he's wanting to take me on, and they were like, "Oh, you're doing the thing with Creed? Like that's gonna be fucking sick when he comes out
yeah,
to your song." I'm
yeah.
really excited for that.
Yeah,
Um,
Creed was our first like real, like you know, more well known name that we got on the
uh-huh,
show, and that was in our first year,
really.
and ever since then, like he came up and played here once, and we get to see
Hmm.
him, and like that dude, man, he is. I don't wanna spoil anything or like
Hmm.
whatever, but like he comes off like this, you know, big badass tough guy, and he is like, don't
Uh-huh.
get me wrong, but
Yeah.
dude, fucking heart of gold, man.
Yeah,
He
that's what I've heard, and
he
that's
is the
it's a
he
beautiful
is the
thing.
one of the most genuine dudes I've ever met in this industry.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
really good to hear. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm so stoked to get
yeah.
out there,
If
rip
if
it
you
up with
can
him.
10, 15 minutes with him, pick his brain because he's been through it all.
Yes, sir. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long have y'all been doing the show?
We just went past 3 years back in
Dang.
September.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
badass.
we've and honestly, this in the half of the year that you're coming on, I've recorded episodes with some of the biggest guests we've ever had, like name wise.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great, man. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, we like so much so to the point where it was like I had all these big names lined up and I was like I have to switch it over to video because if I
Yeah.
don't, I'm gonna fuck myself over.
Yeah.
And but I can talk about it now, but by the time yours comes out, our first video podcast is going to be with Cody Jinks,
Oh shit.
or will have been with Cody Jinks, I should say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's
Hell yeah.
kind of a big deal.
Yes, sir. That's definitely a big name.
Yeah, yeah, especially Cody doesn't do a lot of interviews,
Yeah.
so we haven't recorded it yet by the as you and I are talking,
Yeah. It's in the
but
works.
I'm nervous. you know,
I'm sure you're gonna do fine.
yeah, I'm
You're
sure.
you're a great guy, so
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, it's and we've had names on the show. We had Lanco on in our first year and a half, almost. Who else have we had? We have Blanco Brown on.
uh-huh.
We've had some. It sucks every time I think about it. I can't remember half of them. Chris Cagle we had on.
Hmm.
Chris was a lot of fun. That was an episode and a conversation that it was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, because like he just came on and like just ripped on the industry, and
Yeah.
he's done it so publicly for so long that it shouldn't have been a
Yeah.
shock, but it was like a shock,
You're like, damn.
right? It's like, oh, you actually do believe this shit. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. We've been really fortunate, and you know, I'm I've gotten the fire into my ass to not be as lazy as I have been with this, and not just so
Uh-huh.
passive. Um, so we'll see what I think 2025 is going to be a big deal.
Yes, sir.
We are uh, based on how things go. We're gonna partner up with another entertainment industry entity
Hmm.
for a writers round in December down in Nashville.
Dang. Hell yeah.
So we got things going on.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, that's good to hear, bro.
Yeah, yeah. So you didn't go to college. You're not going to Belmont. You're not doing any of that shit.
No, I think I'm gonna take business classes.
Yeah,
Probably at Belmont, just like not for a degree or anything, but just to have knowledge.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't blame you.
so I don't get fucked over in
Yeah,
anything.
that's
But
right.
yeah, I'm not doing the traditional college route. It's never really been appealing to me. I've known for a while that this was the route for me, just to come here and grind it out. I'd rather grind it out for 4 years and be that much more ahead of my
Yeah,
music career than go to school and party my ass off for 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
I mean, you could still do this and party your ass off.
exactly.
I mean, not
Just
to encourage underage drinking or anything, but
but you're doing it while you're making money, hopefully. So
listen, right. So, are you playing any rounds or shows or anything in town, or are you just kind of?
yeah, so I have a couple shows coming up in Nashville. I think on the 28th I'm playing Whiskey Jam, so that'll be fun. Luke
Yeah,
Porchelt, if you know who that is, he's
yeah.
also on the lineup for that day. So he's a buddy of mine, so that'll be a blast. And then I'm doing Raised Rowdy um, on December 4th, so that'll be fun as well.
Nice,
Um, yes, sir.
nice. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You're God. I would kill to be on the Raised Rowdy team, but
Yeah,
they're also the competition, I guess, which I don't,
yeah,
I don't buy into. But um, you know, those guys
yeah.
have been in Nashville for so long that everything
Oh
they're
yeah,
doing, they've worked their asses off for. So,
yeah, for sure.
um, oh man, I'm super stoked for you. You know,
Yes,
you're
sir.
killing. You're killing.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
man.
Yeah, hopefully, it keeps getting bigger in the next year, and yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
do
there's no
some big
reason.
things.
I mean, for the trajectory you're on, there's no reason why it shouldn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, typically we talk about boots and whiskey, but obviously you've never
Mhm.
had whiskey before, um, because you're not old enough to have it.
Yeah,
Um,
for legal reasons,
right, right.
never had
So that
whiskey.
I don't get sued, we're not going to talk about that. Um, but do you have a pair of boots that you like, or a brand of boot that you like?
Yeah, I love Tecovas, and I also love. So I've played a lot of stuff for Boot Barn,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
so I've gotten close to their team. I've played a couple of their corporate events and stuff like that. And actually, their Cody James brand is like some of my favorite boots
Yeah, man.
have been from them. So,
I get
um,
some of their pearl snaps, and they're great.
yeah, yeah, 100%. What's your favorite brand?
Well, I have a couple. So I actually only
Hmm.
have two pairs of boots. I have a pair of Ariats and I have a pair of Dixons. Dixons
Gotcha.
are handmade in Texas,
Uh
and
huh.
um, those are my like, if I gotta wear a suit, those are my like dress boots.
Yes, sir.
But my Ariats, they're the most comfortable pair of boots I've ever had.
Yeah,
The one of two.
yeah. I used to have a pair of Ariats, and they're awesome.
They
I
are.
had I just like an all black pair, and yeah, I wore them to so much stuff. Like anytime I had anything formal, I would,
Yep.
because they were just like slick, so I'd just like wear a black
Yep.
suit with the black boots. Felt like
That's
$1,000,000.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like you could even wear like jeans and a t-shirt and wear cowboy boots and you're like,
Yeah,
I look good.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Just like it looks clean. Like it
It
looks more clean
does.
than a pair of sneakers. You know.
Right. Right. Um oh man, I'm psyched you were on. I'm psyched you're here.
Yes,
You're
sir.
anytime you want to come back, just I mean, you got my
Oh
number.
yeah,
Just shoot me a text.
will do, bro.
And
Yeah, I think.
anything we can do to help, please by all means with anything we can do.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, enjoy the rest of your night.
I will, bro.
Thanks for taking the time, and we'll chat soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, buddy. See you later.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Well, there you have it, everyone. Our conversation with Timmy. As I said, Timmy, thank you so much for being here. This kid is gonna blow up, guys. I just know it. I just know it. And he's been on the show now, so that's how we do it here. Red Clay Strays were on, blew up. Cody Jinks was on, he blew up. Cody Jinks blew up before me. But anyway, so again, thank you so much for being here. Like we said, 2 nights of Kip Moore this past weekend. Um, Absolutely incredible shows. Friday night, we got there just in time for Kip. 2 hour sets, both nights. Both nights were pretty much the same sets. Saturday night changed up a little bit, played us a tune that hasn't been released yet and will be on the new album. The energy Saturday night was unmatched compared to Friday night. Like it was like the energy was there Friday night, but Saturday night it was like on another level. It was also the last show of the tour. Um, great shit from Kip Moore as always. So that's really it. Yeah, I got nothing left. It's almost Christmas, right? We're gonna sail it in for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll start fresh with season 14 in January. Um, so enjoy your week with your family. If you're off already, good for you. And then yeah, we'll talk Christmas next week. I keep forgetting that there's a whole other week to go, but all right, guys, we will see you next Tuesday. And until then, guys, be good to each other and keep those boots on the ground and the whiskey in the glass, y'all. Cheers.